Knowing what it becomes, I understand that it is cringe, but I actually miss the quaint, you go girl 90s and early 2000s feminist writing. The Buffy or Ally McBeal kind. The you can be girly and strong at the same time kind. Before it mutated and twisted into the bitter, beige, bland, strong whammon feminist writing we have today. The desexualized, defeminized, you're perfect and powerful despite all the evidence to the contrary writing. The writing and characterization that seems to hate both men and masculinity, but also women and femininity. They're not allowed to have love interests or typically girly interests or even mannerisms for fear that will diminish their power. A ton of time in both Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Ally McBeal is spent on romance subplots or talking about romance or girl talk scenes. Buffy tries to be a cheerleader, Ally talks about haircuts and makeup, and they go dancing loads of times. It also helps very much that both Buffy and Ally are very likeable characters. Neither are Mary Sue's, both have flaws. Buffy makes tons of mistakes, and Ally constantly puts her foot in her mouth. She basically tightrope walks the line between girl boss and girl failure, and both characters are very funny. They're both characters that an audience, even an audience of guys, can imagine being friends with. They have character. Likeable character. Compared to Ray, Carol Danvers, Rings of Power's Galadriel, Monica Rambeau, Maria Rambeau, Jennifer Walters, Rachel Zegler's Snow White, Kate Kane and the other one from Batwoman, 2020's Mulan, the 13th Doctor, Lady in the new Netflix DMC show, fucking Velma. Frumpy, bitter, utterly devoid of anything approaching likeable qualities, defeminized, de-womanized. As if typically feminine qualities are somehow shameful, but also, wow, first woman to do blank, please praise me more. At the same time, attacking every fictional character with visible cleavage, when they're not practicing blatant historical revisionism and pretending that they always loved them and that they were always on their side. Compare Ally McBeal to Jennifer Walters. Both lawyers, both women, Ally narrates, Jen breaks the fourth wall, both talk about gender issues. Both even have dancing sections. Ally is actually fun and likeable. Her main flaw is that she's a massive goofball, which is incredibly endearing for us, the audience, but also causes a lot of problems for her in the story, leading to her almost getting disbarred in the first season, due to nothing but her own actions. She also talks a lot about love, romance, sex, men and women, gender issues of the time, etc., but she's not a bitter hag about it, and she experiences actual sexual assault in the very first episode of the show. Jennifer Walters, on the other hand, is a profoundly privileged, yet unaccountably whiny, frumpy, unpleasant, unfunny cow, who, when she finally gets what the show tells us is hot, proceeds to have a one-night stand and then gets salty when her boy toy sees that she's not actually what she presented herself as. And first chance she gets, she goes on a brain-rotted Reddit-level screed about how bad women have it because of catcalls, and exposes the fact that her brain has been fried by true crime documentaries. And tries to tell the man who was hunted by the government and who attempted suicide that she has to control her anger more than him. So basically she summed up modern gender relations without the self-awareness to realise it. This moment is so easily fixed, by the way, because she's a fucking lawyer. Have her talk about court-assigned cases where she had to defend rapists, murderers, paedophiles. Have her talk about how hard it is to not just jump across the table and strangle a person that she has to defend in court. That would have been such a powerful moment. But no, we can't be messy or nuanced, and we have to talk about modern gender shit, so we need to do the Reddit screed. And of course, she's amazing and powerful and better than Bruce, and all of her problems are everyone else's fault, and all of the men are pathetic and useless because current year, yada yada. Even the dancing sections, with Ally, they're fun, quirky, and in character, and have good music. She-Hulk's dance section is trashy and cringe with garbage music in massive fucking air quotes. Even the guest appearances. In Ally McBeal we have crossovers with another legal drama, The Practice, which is an absolute treat. In She-Hulk we get some probable CIA plant with the mission of continuing the grand tradition of destroying Black America, and Wong who's there for some fucking reason, I guess. Isn't it funny how She-Hulk's final episode destroyed all the people defending the show prior to the final episode? I mean it. You literally cannot hold both the position that the show was great before the last episode and that the last episode is great simultaneously, because the show calls itself garbage. Jen speaking to the manager is predicated on the show prior being shit. The positions She-Hulk is a good show before the final episode and She-Hulk is a good show in its entirety are mutually exclusive. And I'm not even going to get into the fact that She-Hulk eradicated any pretense of stakes in the entirety of the MCU with this move, by the way. A character in the story decides that she doesn't like the story, so decides to speak to the writers. Amazing. Why couldn't Tony do that? Or Steve? Or Thor? Or Spider-Man? It's all fucked. As long as She-Hulk is canon, there are no stakes, there is no story, and the illusion of the fiction is broken on purpose. And they did it for this. Was it worth it? Ali is not just likeable because she's silly, or because she's flawed, or because she's pretty, or because she's girly, or because of her hemline. She's likeable because she is a well-written character, which all of those things and more contribute to and work within. Jennifer Walters has nothing even approaching that. The truth is that 90s and early 2000 feminism was cringe but well-meaning. It was about empowerment. Actual empowerment. The mission statement was, women are awesome and we don't have to be ashamed of being women. Modern feminism's mission statement is, women, womanhood and femininity are awful and oppressive, so we have to be exactly like the toxic men we hate. Effectively what has happened is, throughout the 2010s, feminism hit the wall and became a childless HR lady. What characterizes modern feminism? A visceral hatred of youth and young, attractive women and the men who are attracted to them. Pre-2010 feminism was all about girl power. And when I say girl power, I mean girl power. Post-2010 feminism is all about bitter Karening, an inflated sense of ego, importance and virtue that totally isn't compensating for some emptiness. Careerism as a replacement for real meaning. Simultaneous man-hatred and woman-hatred. Masculinity hatred and femininity hatred. Hatred of family, hatred of romance, hatred of love. Anti-horny except for safe, brackets non-normative horny. A wretched hatred of beauty and beautiful young women because post-menopause you feel like less of a woman. A sad hatred of family, a hatred of romance, of love. A hollow, bitter, resentful, judgmental old hag. Modern feminism is the evil queen from Snow White, if she wasn't consciously jealous of Snow White's beauty and feminine virtues, and so vilifies and shies away like a vampire to a cross from anything resembling Snow White or the prince who desires Snow White instead of her. Anything resembling feminine or masculine beauty and virtue. Shit, I should have talked about Xena as well. Fuck, I forgot.